Hi, it's Jan Beta, and I have kind of a soft spot for the Sony PlayStation 2 because that's one of the 2 or 3 consoles I actually owned back in the day, and it was actually the first one that I bought myself. My original one that I bought was the Finding Nemo edition actually, which is a metallic blue color, and it also came with a blue controller. This one I got from a friend actually. It was in one of these giveaway free stuff baskets where he lives, and he just took it and asked me if I wanted to have it. And the good thing is it actually works. And the bad thing also is that it actually works. Let me show you. This does do. So it turns on, no problems at all. If I turn it on, I don't know if you can hear it. Listen to the fan. It's really loud. I don't remember PlayStation 2 being that loud. So, and this kind of has it should come out in one push and one pull. So there's quite some issues with just dirt, I guess. This works fine actually. I even started a game. So the PlayStation actually works fine, no problems whatsoever, except for that it's really loud and dirty. And the controller also, I don't even want to use this really because it feels like grease on it. Yeah, nice touch. In case you didn't remember, Grand Theft Auto Vice City has a Commodore 64 intro. Which is pretty accurate actually. It looks like a real C64. Except for I have the aspect ratio set wrong. So I'm not going to run this for any longer period of time, because I'm a bit afraid that there's things that get worse if I run this. So I'm just going to turn this off. And instantly is quiet again in the lab. So what I'm going to do is to take this apart, give this a good cleaning above all, and refurbish everything that I can find that's worth refurbishing. So let's go! Let me take some seconds to thank PCBWay for kindly sponsoring this video. PCBWay are a manufacturer of PCBs, as the name suggests. And they offer prototype PCBs with very fast turnaround times for very reasonable prices. They also offer more advanced PCB manufacturing and also populating the PCBs. And they have one-on-one assistance if you need it. So I highly recommend checking them out. So first step, obviously, is to take all the cables off. And fortunately this came with the AV cable as well, and the controller, and it also came with the iToy little camera, which is used by some games that I don't have. So this opens from the back side, and I think there's these little covers for the screws, and the rubber feet also have to come off. So there's 6 screws here, and there's 2 more here. Let's remove those. I actually technically still own my PlayStation, and I don't know if it's still in existence, but I lent it to a friend in about, I don't know, 2005 or something. I was only ever using it really as a DVD player. I had this game, Vice City, which I loved, but I was crap at it. And yeah, I mostly used it as a DVD player. I bought it because I didn't have a DVD player, and I basically got a bonus gaming console for the money, which was kind of neat at the time. So these are... Ugh. There's a lot of dirt in there. Ugh. Yeah, so this definitely needs a very, very thorough cleaning. Just remove all the covers. Okay, this definitely hasn't been opened before. You can tell by these self-tapping screws still gripping into the plastic really tightly, and it actually makes some noise loosening them. Yeah. And these are long screws here, okay. I always kind of like the design. It's really like to the point, like not screaming, I am a gaming console thing. It's like you could have it in your living room and it would blend in nicely, especially the black and silver versions. Not so much the one I had, the blue, metallic blue version. Okay, this should now come off unless I forgot a screw. Oh, there's a warranty sticker still that I have to, I guess, yeah, I have to cut that actually. Okay, there actually is a warranty sticker that I have to cut, because, as I said, this has never been opened. So I'm just going to try to carefully cut this. Yeah, this should do. And now this should come off. Yes! Ugh, and I already can see more dust. Let's look at the other side. We have to kind of pull it forward to get past the buttons and the DVD cover thing here, DVD player cover. So, there's a lot of dust coming out there. Okay, so here's what it looks like. Really filthy. So what I'm going to do is to just get the vacuum cleaner and a brush and clean off most of the dust before I even work on this any further. Okay, now that's a lot better already. I think we can just remove this part here with 2 screws. Actually, the little switching compartment here just came off. It just slides out. That's really dirty too. So, I want to take this part off, which is the connectors for the controllers and the memory cards for the save games. I think these are different screws. They're golden and short. Now this should come off. Ugh, and there's more dust. So that got rid of the dust. Now we have this flat flex cable here. And there's a little latch on this flat flex, as usual for flat flex connectors. So I hope you can see this a bit. There's a little latching thing that we have to pull up. And then we can carefully, hopefully, remove the flat flex. There we go. That gives us this part. And then in the back we have 2 more screws, one here and one here. So this one, these are the same screws as in front, I believe. The little golden ones. There they are. Golden screws. Golden screws. Actually using my left hand so you can see. So this one won't come out. There we go. Okay, this is dirty too. So here's the on-off switch. You should now be able to basically take the whole console out of the case here, I guess. Are we? Maybe. Oh, we can take this part off at least. That's not too bad. Oh, that's kept in place by the warranty seal again. But what if I want to give this back to Sony and get it replaced or repaired? Okay, now we should be able to take this part out. Yes, we are. Okay. And the fan, is that, yeah, that's just stuck in there. Ah, okay. So I think it's vacuum cleaner time again. Whoa. Okay, you gotta be careful with the fan because that's connected with two very tiny cables. I think now this whole thing should actually lift out. Yay! Okay, it's probably... Okay, that's also quite dusty. Surprise. That's quite an interesting design. The power supply board is on the bottom side here, and the logic is on the top side with these heat sinks on there. So I guess I give this more of a cleaning now. Okay, now I got this in a state where I actually can work on it without getting the coughs. I need a smaller screwdriver for this. So this should just come off now, I think. Yes. Okay. Ugh. There's more dirt in there, actually. So to open up the DVD tray without actually breaking it, I have connected it. Wow, and that already works a lot better than before. Okay, the fan is quieter too already. And now we have the DVD thingy open, so I think I can just turn this off. Yes, that should cut the power, and we have the tray open to actually work on the drive, which is what we're going to do. So first of all, I think the first thing I'm going to do is to go in there with the vacuum cleaner too, and with the brush, and remove the dust that has gathered all around here. And then basically what you do usually is to clean the laser, which is this part here, with very, very carefully, because you can scratch the lens, and that would be the death of the laser basically, or you can misalign the laser, which would also be, of course, a game breaker, literally. So you usually use a Q-tip. I usually use a Q-tip with 99.9% isopropanol, and wipe it gently, turn the Q-tip a bit, and then use a dry Q-tip and do the same again. And that's it. That's all I do to these lenses. And most of the time that removes all of the dirt, or most of the dirt already. You can use compressed air. I don't have any. That's why I'm using a vacuum cleaner, actually. You shouldn't use a vacuum cleaner on delicate electronics. But yeah, I'm not quite touching the electronics. I'm mostly touching the ground parts and things like that. So I guess I'm going to get away with it. If you have compressed air, use like these use canned air duster to remove the dust, ideally, because that doesn't interfere with the electronics and doesn't lead to electrostatical discharge, which a vacuum cleaner can do. So that's not recommended. I hope I get away with it in this case. So, and then there's these rails that you can see here, these two metal rods that the laser assembly actually travels on. You can actually move that by hand, which is not recommended, but you can. And this thing actually positions, the little motor that positions the laser. So what we have to do is to remove the old lubricant from these two rods the laser travels on, and from this worm gear that the laser is actually positioned with by this motor. And we have to re-lubricate it a bit so this runs smoothly again. So yeah, let's just remove some dust, I guess. And now I'm going in there with my Q-tips and removing the old lubricant. I'm doing the laser lens cleaning last. And ideally you would want to get it all off of these rails. You can actually move the head by turning this, obviously. Yeah, that's pretty good. So this here gives me some headaches. There's a stain on the flat flex there. And if you have worked with these flat flex cables before, you know that they are very, very delicate. So I'm just cleaning that off. No matter what it is, I don't want to risk anything. So, okay. Now for the laser. Or let's just clean the assembly, the little ring here as well. It's actually a rubbery ring that grabs the CD, or the DVD in this case. It's a modernish console. Okay, for the laser. Just a gentle swipe. And then with a dry, clean one. That's it. Shiny. And now we just re-lubricate the rails. And for that purpose, I'm using the stuff I tend to use for that. Silicone grease. Which should work fine. You just need a tiny amount. I just took way too much. So trying to get some of that off and put it on this one. Then we want to get some into the worm gear here. Yeah, should be enough, I guess. This should be pretty much closed, but I'm still going to put a drop of silicone oil, like the liquid stuff, in there. Maybe it helps a bit with the CD spinning. Yeah, that actually isn't bad. Also cleaning the whole tray out a bit, because that just looked filthy. That's not that important, but it had some grime across the edges here. Okay, and for getting the tray in again, I'm just having this reconnected. Okay, this isn't working. It's actually kind of a bummer. Oh, I see, okay. So we have to clean this part too, and we have to adjust it for being inside, I guess. So the DVD tray on the bottom side has these teeth, which are gripping into a little wheel that pulls it in and out, and it travels on this. So yeah, we have to clean this and lubricate it, and then we have to align it in a way so that it can actually slide inside, because the wheel also controls the lift of the actual laser assembly. So, and if that's lifted, this thing can't go inside. Let's just remove the dust first. And then I also want to put some lubricant on the teeth, I think. Yeah, that would make sense, I guess. And also on the rail, a tiny bit. Was way too much again. So now let's figure out how this goes in again. So here's the problem that I have at the moment. The CD assembly lifts up and prevents the door from closing because I messed something up. I don't quite know what. So I'm actually going to have to take this apart a bit further, I think. Can take off the whole tray by removing these two screws, presumably. Yeah, that just lifts out. Okay, there's some more dust in there that I can remove, which is a bonus. And there's also my gears, okay. Whoa. So the problem actually was that this was up when it wanted to slide in. So that's actually this rod here that manages the lift of the laser assembly. This just comes loose at one position, otherwise it's driven by these gears. I think that's the problem. This came loose and got dislocated. And then, yeah, the gears were in the wrong position, maybe. Maybe we can just put this into the closed position as well. Like so. Come on, go in there. Won't go in, okay, so we have to slide it in. But we can, of course, let me do this. Of course, slide this in now. On that side. But not on the other, okay. Kind of, sort of. Not quite. Yeah, okay, that's in. Maybe that was it. So we can remove these screws and then we can move the tray. I hope that was the solution to our little problem. Maybe. Not quite. At least it's better. Okay, I guess this should be the closed position of sorts. Let's see if that helps. Ah, come on, yay. Okay, that solved it. So you can reposition this thing. Okay, so this should now be correctly reassembled. I'm going to put the screws back in. Wow, that was kind of a shocker. I'm not very mechanically inclined. I usually hate when stuff that's mechanically connected with gears and such, if that stuff breaks, I'm pretty much lost most of the times. And especially with these CD mechanisms are just... This is a very friendly CD mechanism, actually. It's quite serviceable compared to others I've seen. So this should go on here, something like this. Yeah, let's just... I think we cleaned that and put everything back into place. Let's just put this on top there again. I don't want to do any real electronics work at this point because yeah, it's relatively new compared to the stuff I usually do on my channel, and I guess the capacitors are still going to be good. It wouldn't hurt to replace some capacitors in this, of course, especially in the power supply section, which is on the bottom there. but I'm not going to do that, at least not in this video. I'm probably going to do it at some point, but not now. Okay, that works. Okay, with the insides being relatively clean now, I'm just going to go over these parts again with some IPA and a toothbrush, because yeah, these are still pretty dirty, and I'm going to clean the other case parts, everything that's only plastic. I'm just going to put into some soapy water, let it soak, and thoroughly clean it. So after drying, the case parts turned out really, really nicely. Almost as good as new. I mean, there are a few scratches here and there, but overall, at least the outside, looks nearly as good as new. There's a small dent here where the grill is broken. And this mesh came out, which is glued to the back side of the case here where the grill is in the front bottom part. So I'm just going to glue that back, I guess. I'm actually just going to use some all-purpose household glue stuff and just put some where the old glue was, like the old stuff was double-sided tape basically. Yeah, that works nicely. Yeah, that actually worked really nicely. Just going to take some of the excess off here. Okay, nice. You could, of course, cut double-sided tape to shape and do it a bit more precisely than what I did here, but this is going to do, I guess. Oh, so this is glued to the top here, I guess. Yeah. Maybe we should put some more tape on there as well. This part goes here. Ah, there we go. Okay. So this part here, the grill part for the fan, was a bit fiddly to get it back in, but I think I managed to do so. It's all lined up correctly. Of course, the seal is broken now, but It doesn't look that bad. We cut it really precisely, I guess. That's quite good. Yeah, let's get the screws back in. So I hope I get this right. One here. One here and one here. There's two more of those. So this holds in place. Oh, this was held in by screws. Okay, so I'm just going to put this back. This folds over like this. Okay, this part connects to this flat flex, and of course we have to lock it again, which can be a bit challenging, as you see. It has to go all the way in, actually. There we are. Now it's locked in place. Okay, so this part goes like so. Careful not to damage the flat flex. Going to slide it inside this cavity there, and then the screws go back in. This nearly turned out as good as new, actually. Quite cool, quite serviceable too. I think I want to put some sticky tape back on here. And I think I'm using this Kapton tape that I have laying around here. Which is a bit overkill because this is like heat resistant tape. But it's also quite sticky, so that's good. Just put some on here. To hold the flat flex in place. This is kind of tricky to get in. Okay. Oh, the other way around. Yeah, now it's in. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Hey, this looks pretty nice, actually. There's still some dust in this cavity here that we can get out. I'm just going to use a Q-tip and remove the remaining dust there. But otherwise, this actually looks nearly as good as new, except for the little dent here, but I don't mind too much. Nice! Ee-oo. There we go. That's better. Let's do a short function test before I put all the screws back in. It lights up. There we go. The fan actually sounds a bit louder again, of course, because it's in the case. Could find a replacement fan at some point, but I think that's nearly the original volume. Let's see if the DVD reads. That seems to work. Okay, let's put the screws back in before I get lost in the game. Putting all the screws back in. So we had a lot of long screws and a couple of short screws. So the long screws were here, 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 I think. No, they're actually here. Yeah. The first 4 here are the long ones, I think, if I remember correctly. So I forgot about these. Just going to spray them with some window cleaner and scrub them with a microfiber cloth before I reinsert them in the case. It should work nicely. And of course, let them dry so the screws will not rust or anything. So the actual rubber feet go here in the outmost positions. So now with the PlayStation refurbished, let's take a look at this rather crusty controller. I guess if you're using a controller for a couple of years, it just gets crusty. There's nothing you can really do about that. Well, this is not my skin flakes and my grime on there. It's just somebody else's. And I'm going to clean this very thoroughly, take it apart, and yeah, see what I can do, basically. So I did what every reasonable person would do in the current times. I watched some YouTube videos about how to do this, and people recommended going on from the back side here. Yeah, I need a small screwdriver. Let's see, does this one fit? Yes. Small Phillips head screws. And this is so dirty. I hate to touch this. I'm just going to take a shower afterwards or something. I guess these are the same screws everywhere. Let's see. Yeah, they are. Same size screws. No, this should just come off. Yeah. Whoa, okay. Very interesting construction. It is really dirty. Okay, this goes right into some soapy water. So this whole part should just lift out. Okay. And there's hair, and we got everything. Okay. There's this little clamping thing that actually goes this direction. I'm actually going to take pictures along the way because I don't want to put this back together the wrong way. And that's always a good idea to take pictures. Yeah, these things just go into soapy water too. All the rubbery things can go into some soapy water. And the buttons, it's a little plastic thingy, retainer thingy. Actually, a very nice touch with the buttons is that they are molded out of two different colors of plastic, so the actual markings will never rub off or anything, because it's just two different plastics molded together. This is dirty. Wow, everything's crusty. So this whole assembly, I think we can just pop these off. Yeah, we can. These are rather dirty as well, of course, obviously. I'm just going to leave this in one piece so I don't get it messed up. The contacts are rather interesting. The contacts are this flat flex that's just contacting by being pressed down on the PCB, basically. There's a little rubber piece in the case that presses this down. That is where the analog sticks and all the buttons make contact. Interesting concept. Probably common point of failure in these. And as the other case parts, I'm just going to let this stuff soak for a while in warm soapy water. And then scrub it with a toothbrush and let it dry. So these have dried now, and they actually turned out pretty nicely. There's a few regions where I have to do some extra cleaning with a Q-tip, but otherwise they are quite clean now, especially considering how dirty they were. One thing happened while cleaning this. This part here came apart. This is the part that goes under the D-pad, and yeah, actually two of these little rubber, I don't know, circles came out while just scrubbing this. I guess they were just really... Usually they don't come out that easily. I think they were just really worn out and were about to fall out by themselves, or maybe they were even already loose and I didn't pay attention. Fortunately, you can still buy all the spare parts, even the little buttons themselves, as spares from China, because I guess because they are producing knockoffs of these old controllers still and selling them. Like, you can get them on Amazon and eBay and stuff. I ordered some actually, but they are going to take a while until they arrive. So I thought I'd take apart one of these, which I also have. Maybe you've seen my PlayStation 1 episode as well. Got these after I showed that episode where I found a PlayStation 1 that I still have to do more videos about actually. And actually the part is the same part, just that this has contacts on the backside. But I guess this is going to work fine for the PS2, so they are interchangeable basically. So if you maybe have an old PS1 controller without the analog sticks, you can just use parts of it, some of the rubber parts at least, for the PS2 controllers. I learned something, and I'm pretty glad I tried, so I can put this back together and try out the PlayStation 2. Obviously I could also try out the PlayStation 2 with the PS1 controllers, because they work on the PlayStation 2 as well. And I think so actually the PlayStation 2 controllers also work on the PlayStation 1. So this goes away. I'm just going to give this a quick wipe with some alcohol too. There are no contacts on the top side in this version, so it doesn't matter if this has contacts or not. This one, the original one, doesn't, but this is the same size, so it should work fine. So these thumbsticks can only go one direction. These were really dirty. So I think I want to do this starting from this part and putting all the little pieces in, because this has way more pieces that could fall out than the other part, which is basically the one that screws on. Just going to look at the pictures I took for the correct button orientation. So this one goes here. They're basically all keyed anyway, so you can't really get it wrong. But I'd rather get it right the first time. So, blue one. These are so iconic actually, so that's really cool. It's kind of a very well done branding. So these smaller triggers go on top, and the wider thingy, I think, is the top one. Yeah, so the 1, they're actually 1 and 2, 2 being the larger trigger button. And the larger little flap here goes on top, the other one is a bit smaller. From this perspective it goes on top. Okay, these should be in. Yeah, these just go in like this. So they poke through. There we go. Okay, got these in. Now put back the electronics. Okay. Doesn't look too bad. The LED is not quite correctly aligned. make sure this thing's still here. And then, I don't know, like so. I think I'm just going to glue this in slightly. Just put a bit of glue in there. Because that's an important part, and it's going to get dislocated, I guess. Dislocated easily. Yay, that's together correctly, I guess. Hope. Just quickly get the screws back in and hope that it works still. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take it apart again, which will be fun. Ah, much better. Okay, so this came out really nicely. Feels really good too. Better than before, and it's clean again. So, only one thing that remains to be tested is if this actually works. Oh, one last thing. I'm going to give the cable a bit of a wipe too. And untangle it while I'm at it. Okay, cross your fingers. Gotta love the intro as an retro enthusiast. Okay, let's try the gamepad. Vice City! Ah, there we go. Okay, let me just try out all the keys on the gamepad, I guess. After this finished loading, which it hopefully will at some point. Okay, and so the game begins. And I'm moving the analog sticks, which work absolutely no problem at all. The D-pad. Yay. Nice. The D-pad feels a lot better. I think the rubber part was broken before. Start key. Yeah. Okay, everything seems to work fine. Select. Select selects the camera perspective. Shoulder buttons. Yeah, it does seem to work. Everything does seem to work. Nice! So I call this restoration, or more or less cleaning, a success. And I have some other plans for the PlayStation 2 that I'm going to do at some point. For now, I'm pretty satisfied with how this turned out. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. Thanks for your support and your clicks and your thumbs up. And yeah, that's it for today. I'm Jan Beta. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.